And
That's an
that
interesting
would
theory.
be crazy.
But my big question is, did Luffy eat a human? Did Luffy eat a human? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast, where we highlight and discuss new series each week. But today, we're back again with more One Piece, which means that today, my name is Josh Artificial Devil Fruit Michaels. And today, I am joined by
Mehgan, Baby 5, Perrine.
Ooh.
Even though not in cosplay, but
Yeah, we decided that, sorry if anybody was expecting some crazy cosplay this episode. We decided that, instead of putting together cosplay last minute for this part, we would much rather save up and put together a better cosplay for some characters coming up in the future. We really want to put our whole what's into those cosplays. So we're just going to spend some time working on those. But today, you got a casual law bucket hats, a Soge King shirt. Come on, I'm one pieced out right now.
you really are. You're really repping it. You're really drippy today. And
thank you, dude.
and Dressrosa, there's so many characters. People, I think we had one comment just listing a bunch of different characters, which was like very, very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments suggesting cosplays.
Yeah.
So thank you. If you were one of those people, thank everybody because it was a huge help. That's a huge help.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of characters in Dressrosa that I already know what, I want to do. So it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know how many videos that will be, but.
Well, I did want to talk about that real quick. But before I do, today, of course, is going to be Punk Hazard Part 2, the finale of Punk Hazard. We're going to be covering chapters 678 through 699. And in terms of how many videos we're going to be doing, how many videos are going to take up arcs going forward, there should be a graphic. I haven't made it yet, but by the time you're seeing this, there should be a graphic up here with the arcs that we still have left to cover and how many videos we plan on covering them in. I think last time I was doing the math, it's about 11 episodes total that we have left to do before we are caught up. And some other comments have pointed out to us that it'd be probably a good idea to react to some episodes when we get into the Wano arc, which we're for sure probably going to do as well. But as far as like One Piece arc reviews, it looks like, and again, check the graphic up here, it looks like we're going to be doing it for 11 more episodes. We got 11 more episodes, and then it's going to be chapter videos or other types of videos. But yeah, a lot of people were asking how many videos we planned on breaking Dressrosa up into because it's a longer arc, and then there's equally as long, if not longer, arcs after that.
Yeah.
So hopefully this clears that up. But I'm excited, dude. And 11? That's I think it's 11 after this one, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but even still, it might be after. Yeah, it's 11 after this one. That seems like it's right around the corner, and that is exciting and scary and sad. It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I was looking at the playlist that we have on YouTube. We have a One Piece playlist of all of our One Piece videos. We have about, I think, 20, excluding like the tier list. I think we have like 28-ish videos, if
Dang.
I'm not mistaken, of One Piece.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot more One Piece coming, okay? We got movie reviews that we're planning on talking about. Like I said, some episode reactions, maybe when we get deeper into the Wano arc. But in terms of arc reviews, this is the roadmap. What you're seeing here is the roadmap for the videos to come. Before we get started with today's review, walkthrough, discussion, we are going to shout out a couple of comments. We're going to get through this quickly, but we didn't shout out a comment in the part 1 video. And so to make up for that, we're shouting out 2 today. We asked a lot of people to clarify what exactly was happening in the scene with Smiley and which now that name makes a lot more sense, actually. Smiley and the devil fruit and what exactly was going on. And thank you to everybody who answered the question. We got a lot of answers, but today we wanted to shout out one of those answers from Isopod, who says, for a bit of clarification on Smiley, it's a blob and condensed poison gas that Caesar fed the axolotl fruit to, similar to Funkfried or the dog gun in Alabasta. Caesar sends his grunts out with a cart full of apples, and they end up near Smiley when it self-destructs and dies. Then we see one of those apples get all swirly. Take from that what you will. Also, fun bit of trivia, that fruit is the first amphibious and aquatic zone we've seen. Axolotls spend their entire lives in water unless they are artificially forced to undergo metamorphosis.
That's funny because he was artificially forced to metamorphosize. Is that a word?
Metamorphosize.
I have a pretty, someone made, I think it was bizarre in our community. Someone made a meme about me like swinging at like the craziest One Piece series because anything could be possible to us at this point. And I like to just like really, really overreach sometimes because some of the things that we thought would never happen in One Piece. So I have a pretty interesting theory at the end of our video. I don't know if I'm the first one to have thought about this, but I mean, I might say it and they'd be like, absolutely not. Who knows? But I'll just, we'll swing at the fences at the end.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And just for some clarification, I guess the reason I thought he ate a second devil fruit or why that even could be a possibility is because I didn't see that the fruit turned all swirly like until after he had kind of exploded. So I thought when he kind of jumped onto the cart, part of what he consumed was also
that's
that
what
fruit.
I thought too.
But yeah, a lot of people clarified that it was the candy that caused him to kind of revert. Also, that could mean and probably means that he dies. And that is when the devil fruit or the apple that's in the cart turns into a devil fruit. A lot of people were saying, take from that what you will. But there were some people who were saying that, a couple things actually. Some people were saying that is kind of what happens or seems to happen, and I'm inclined to believe that. And kind of after I got these explanations, was able to deduce that and feel like that's the best explanation for what I was seeing, is that if a devil fruit user with a devil fruit dies, then any nearby fruit seems to inherit or become a devil fruit.
And that is crazy because it adds this like extra level to like this mystical element of the devil fruits. Like I straight up thought that they just kind of, maybe some of them do, but they just grow somewhere and they just have like magical capabilities. But this totally like changes a lot of things because are all devil fruits just passed on and passed on? Like, is there always have to be a fruit nearby, or like can they?
Maybe
do
it's
they
the
grow?
closest fruit nearby, even if that is 5 miles away, 10 miles away, or an island away. Whatever the closest fruit is, it'll turn into.
Yeah, what if you're just like someone dies near you and you're freaking just like about to chew into an apple and it turns into devil fruit?
Whoa, dude. Yeah, what are the rules for that? It's so crazy because when we heard coming back to the New World that Blackbeard and his crew were making a name for themselves by trying to acquire other devil fruit abilities or devil fruits, I guess, it makes sense then that they would just be killing these people and waiting for their devil fruit to spawn close by. And that also means then that they could probably safely assume that if they killed somebody, the next devil fruit that spawned close by would be that person's ability in fruit form. I only say that because, there are fruits that Spandam seemed to have found or came in possession of during the Water 7 Enies Lobby sort of arc where he gave one to Kaku and Khalifa and didn't know what it was.
And I think, because I was like, oh, maybe those were artificially made because they are all kind of like zones.
Right.
But Khalifa's not a zone. But
Kaku the giraffe,
is, a lot of CP9 agents are. So I was like, okay, maybe that's it, but I don't think. I think he just found them and they were like legit.
Yeah, and that also raises another question. Like, have we met anybody yet up until this point who has had one of those artificial zone devil fruits?
And what are the regulations? Like, I know that Momonosuke wasn't able to like change back freely. They never really explain that. There's parts where like I think toward the end he like gets shocked and changes back into the dragon and then is able to change. I don't know what or how you can control it. I don't know if it is controllable.
Right.
So if someone eats one, like what? How are they able to tame it? Like, yeah, it's very interesting.
This opens up a lot of room for speculation and theories and questions. And I think it's awesome and something that, like you said, I never saw happening this way. I thought they were just one of my old theories was that there was just an island somewhere, an island that's been erased from history, and all the devil fruits came from this island. And when you die, your ability dies, or it's almost like a Dragon Ball situation where the Dragon Balls are scattered all over the world again, but it could just end up right next to you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. But that is the first comment that we wanted to shout out. So shout out again to Isopod. And the last comment that we wanted to shout out, this is just a fun one. This comes from Rose13, who says Zoro's right eye, Sanji's left eye, almost like they're the right hand and left hand of the Pirate King or something.
Great.
Because we had said that you had said that someone pointed it out, or Oda pointed it out in an SBS, and we thought, oh yeah, you know, they're opposites. They're always kind of fighting against each other or arguing with each other. They're just constantly opposite each other. But it also could be that one is the right hand and one is the left hand.
Yeah,
and I like that better. I like that more. That's a far better explanation for that. So yeah, shout out our highlighted comments.
Yay.
Thank you guys so much. All right. Punk Hazard Part 2, the finale. Before we go through it beat by beat, also I want to say too that I think it's interesting. Something else that some people pointed out in the comments is that we don't get, and I don't know if people consider this a spoiler or not. I mean, I kind of don't, but some people said that in terms of the Vegapunk mystery, because I had said that I had hoped to get more Vegapunk during the Punk Hazard arc, but a lot of people in the comments said, you know, even us who are caught up still don't know anything about Vegapunk or much about Vegapunk. He still hasn't made an appearance. He still hasn't showed up. And that kind of blows me away. That is so intriguing and so interesting that this character, this very important character who's been mentioned countless times, for whatever reason has still not shown up.
I'm sure Oda, that is planned for more of the ending of One Piece. I'm sure that that'll be a huge reveal or something. Something's going to happen with Vegapunk. I assume you get more info as you go, but you still don't actually see who it is.
I wouldn't even be surprised if it is someone we've met.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
And you know, their name is blank, aka Vegapunk, or someone's gonna say, I abandoned that name and now I go by Vegapunk, and people are gonna be like, what the fuck? But I just thought that was crazy. But Punk Hazard Part 2, the finale. Now that we know it and have read it in its totality, what are kind of your thoughts on it and how do you feel about it?
I would say that definitely the second half was entertaining. I would say it's more entertaining, and I just felt like it was stronger than the first half for sure. A lot of cool fights, I would say. There are some things that I wish didn't get as much time as they did, but other than that, I mean, it was not my favorite. It was like a setup, but even the other setup arcs that we've had that are setting up towards a bigger arc have been amazing. I mean, like, for example, Water 7. I mean, even like, I would kind of classify like Thriller Bark as that too. And I really, really loved both of those. So, just kind of feeling a little like, it was okay. You know, Monet was cool. You know, Caesar was okay.
Yeah.
And what's the other guy's name? Virgo. Like those two, Virgo and Monet, definitely were the highlight villains, I guess. Caesar was kind of whatever. It's kind of like we've seen this from a villain before.
Yeah.
So it was kind of lackluster for me. But other than that, I did enjoy it. Obviously Law was awesome this arc. And I think Chopper had some really standout moments
Chopper,
too.
Chopper did.
And there, yeah, I would say that.
For me, I think it's. I feel similarly. I mean, there are a lot of things that happen in Punk Hazard that I do like and that I really enjoyed. But the arc as a whole, I would also say that it's not one of my favorites. And I guess I understand that it's set up, and I understand that this is set up that we need. And people have said that this is set up not just for the events of Dressrosa, but for the events of even Wano and things to come.
Yeah.
So I understand that this is set up, but like you've said, we have read arcs that are set up that do interest me a little bit more, do seem to grab me a little bit more. Not to say this is a bad arc at all. It had some very high highs. And it had some I wouldn't say low lows.
I would say
but I would
medium
say
low.
it was like medium.
It was like a simmer.
Yeah, it was kind of simmering at points.
Yeah.
I do feel like they were kind of, everybody was kind of running around a lot, and a lot of things were just happening that, I don't know. I just felt like in terms of like how the groups were split up and what they were kind of all dealing with, one group chasing the kids, the other group going after Virgo or Monet or Caesar.
Yeah.
It did feel like a lot of running around for not a whole lot of payoff.
For real, yeah. It was a lot of just it was a lot of running from the gas, which was like it got old pretty quick.
Yeah.
And going through all the corridors, and that one's closed. Well, we gotta go this way. Oh, that one's closed. Well, it was just kind of like, okay, let's.
Yeah, and now Caesar's opening this gate and closing that gate. Oh no, he's opening this gate. And again, in terms of like Caesar, I mean, I think as in terms of his design, I think he's an incredibly cool looking character. But as a villain, and even honestly a little bit as Vegapunk's peer or evil partner, or partner turned evil, or always evil partner. I mean, he was just kind of whatever to me.
He was a bit silly.
I appreciate a good silly, we had Hannibal, who was very silly in Impel Down.
Yeah,
even Magellan, this man had diarrhea all the time. I mean,
he was silly, but I think Oda has a good way of like balancing silly and serious. I never really felt serious from Caesar. I never felt like there was a threat from him. I just felt like, oh, he did bad things and he's a bad guy. But with Magellan, it was like, yeah, I'm in the bathroom, for how many hours a day. And then when he comes in and like actually beats ass, he beats ass.
And that was
Hannibal too. When he comes in to beat ass, he beats ass. Like Caesar was just being a dick, and then he came in and was like,
yeah,
I'm not really that threatening.
Yeah, he was just like you said, that moment with Hannibal too, where he's making this joke, the whole Impel Down arc about wanting, to take Magellan's spot, and then when he's in a position to prove that he's capable of that, he proves that he's capable of that, and it's like kind of like a oh wow moment, like oh wow, I didn't expect this character who I did really enjoy up to this point, but damn, like he this isn't just a joke, this is a very real thing that he wants to do, and he is capable of doing it. A real career path. A real career path, and I was like, wow, like I already loved Hannibal, but I love him even more now, and same with Magellan, who are silly, and there have been others too that are silly, like Buggy is very silly, but I love Buggy, and there are a lot of villains that are silly, but I love them.
Silly villains. Yeah. It's just he was giving only silly, and there has to be a mix. Like it depends. Like Foxy's just silly. I don't take him threatening, but I felt like it was like he was trying to give us this villain that we wanted. Like he wanted us to take seriously as a villain, but I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I thought he was just very kind of one note, which maybe he was supposed to be, but it was the same thing over and over again of everybody just being being shocked at how evil he actually is. Everybody kind of having fallen for this sort of act.
Got old too.
Exactly, this act that he put on, and him just constantly, like I don't know how many times I felt like he told Monet, or he told someone who already knew who he was, like, yeah, close the door. And they were like, yeah, okay, well, we'll give you time to evacuate the guards. He's like, do it now. And everybody was shocked, like every time, like, really? What about the guards? Really? You're going to let your own men die? And
or they would just turn a blind eye and they'd be like, well, it's not us that he's doing that to. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, it was that. And it was a lot of just I don't know. It was a lot of just, I guess, like the threat, like you said, that I felt like he really imposed, which wasn't really that big of a threat, felt like that big of a threat. I think it also might have been, and I'm fully aware, like I want to be clear again and say that there are parts of this arc that I really did enjoy, and I understand that it's set up for things to come. But I think it also might be a little bit of my own fault because I really, going into this, knew we were going to get some law. I didn't know in what way we were going to get law. So I was like, oh, damn. We're going to get to see Law come back. It opened kind of strong with him. This like mysterious distress call, him being revealed that he's a warlord of the sea, this alliance being formed. And actually, I would say that part one for me, the first part of the arc, had a lot more to offer. There were, again, some awesome moments, but in part one, like in the first half, we were discovering more of, or seeing more of Law's devil fruit abilities, the op fruit. And, I think maybe even I had expectations for it. So I would be the first to say that it also might be a little bit of my fault that I didn't, I don't know, that I didn't enjoy the arc as much as I thought I would, but that's not to say that I didn't enjoy it. There were moments and parts that I really, really did enjoy. And I think the things that are introduced here that will have an effect on the story going forward are huge, huge things about artificial devil fruits, huge things about Kaido being revealed to be the emperor that they're going after, huge things about more about the people of Wano and Kinemon and Momo, and they have someone that they're going after in Dressrosa, and Momo being a artificial zone, devil fruit dragon now. I mean, there are a lot, the implications, and Doflamingo leaving the Seven Warlords, and there's a lot of really cool stuff here. But in terms of an arc as a whole, it's not my favorite, I'll say. But that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Anything else you want to point out? Any other moments you want to point out before we start going through it beat by beat?
I forgot what I was going to say.
Damn.
Sorry. I'll probably remember later. It's written somewhere.
Yeah. And I guess, I also want to say that I'm excited, so excited for Dressrosa, because I feel like we were introduced to a lot of characters at the very end of this arc that we're going to get to see more of in Dressrosa. So a lot of it did feel like that too, like character introductions. That again, cool ass characters, like Baby 5 is so cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're going to get to see a lot more of her and a lot more of the people that we saw on Dressrosa when Doflamingo was taking that call. Like I'm so excited, incredibly excited for Dressrosa. And again, this it just felt like setup for that. But let's start going through it, and let's start, let's focus on the highlights of this part, because there were a lot of them. And then Megan's got some, apparently, this is news to me, some crazy theories that she's going to share with us at the end of the video.
At the end, so stay tuned.
So where we left off was everybody is kind of making it into this facility as the gas is coming in. They break the doors. There's no way for the gas to keep the gas out, so they have to kind of barricade it. And everybody made it in. Nami and Sanji are finally back in their body. So everybody at the very beginning of this part is finally back in their body. Those are the last two people that still needed to do a little flip-flop, a little switcheroo. So everybody's back and everybody's inside the facility. G5 is going to go after the kids. Smoker's going to go after Virgo. Kinemon's going to go look for Momo. Law's going to go after the Sad, and Luffy's going to go after Caesar. So everybody kind of has their objectives. Everybody kind of has their goals.
And there was a really cool moment here when they're kind of all ramping up to go, and Luffy is on his way to go get Caesar, and like Zoro straight up is just like, don't mess this up. Like, do what you're told, pretty much. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no. I mean, I even wrote that down.
Yeah,
Zoro,
do the job right. The new
right.
world starts here. Like, and Luffy's like, I know. Like, because if they can't get past Caesar, if Luffy fucks up once in the new world, like that fuck up could mean death. That fuck up could mean death to one of his crew, to him. Like, it's like the stakes are so much higher, and like the Caesar clown ass, if he can't get past him, like, or make a mistake with him, like, who knows what could happen. Like, so Zoro kind of like woke him up a little bit and was like, hey dude, like, take this seriously. seriously. And even when he gets there, he kind of changes his mind on the plan.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
even do the job right, especially because this is a very sensitive kind of mission that they're, and a mission that I think Luffy is not used to kind of going on.
Oh,
where
no.
he can't just like, and
Yeah.
like you said, he does kind of, we see him kind of fall back into old Luffy habits, but he can't just beat the shit out of this person and leave him left for dead, or leave him for the Navy to come get. He has to. It's very important that they kidnap him.
And it's like it's Luffy being a part of this alliance. I mean, he has obviously an alliance with his crew because that's his crew. Like everyone's kind of on the same page. But even Sanji just told Law, like, your idea of alliance might be different than Luffy, so just stay tuned, I guess, or be on your toes or whatever, because that's kind of how it went. He goes, well, you were supposed to do this and you didn't do this. He goes, well, I just didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah. There's a moment in the anime too where, because we try to watch moments that we really liked from reading the manga. We try to find some clips of it from the anime. But there was a moment that I accidentally stumbled upon where Usopp is telling that to Law. And Luffy, he's like, yeah, I think you need to know that Luffy's idea of an alliance might be a little different than yours. And Luffy's like, yeah, it just means we're friends, right? But it's so funny because I don't remember this happening in the manga at all. But Luffy like picks his nose and just flicks a booger on Chopper, and Chopper just freaks out, like, don't flick your boogers at me.
Chopper's like laying down in the snow.
Yeah.
And he's just resting a little bit, and he's like, ah.
Yeah. It's just so funny. I think it's right after he did like his berserker mode, ate his rumble ball. And so he literally can't move. It was very funny, actually. I was like, did this happen in the manga? So the anime sometimes be throwing a little extra shit in there, but sometimes it works.
Yeah, we were watching a couple moments, obviously, from like Smoker and Law and Tashigi's kind of fight with the ship, being raised and the hearts being stolen. It was very cool. Again, like little details that you wouldn't necessarily think when you're reading it, but like how Law's room, box with the hearts like beating.
Yeah.
Like I would have never thought that it was like beating in the box. Like maybe there's like lines of like sound, but
and he's like
that.
Room.
Yeah. He's like this. What is it like this?
Yeah, it's so.
And I'm
sick.
like, Law, chill.
Yeah, Law,
chill with those freaking hand movements.
I mean, he's got death written on it for a reason.
Yeah. But yeah, those were cool moments in the anime. But there was that one moment too, which is like something that I don't know if it's ever answered, but when they're all in the prison, when they're all in the cell, someone throws that piece of paper at Chopper and says like, don't do anything. At first I thought it was like Monet, but then as it got further into the story, I was like, yeah, there's no way she would have done that because she's kind of like not a good person. So I wonder who did that. I wonder who threw that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is someone in the facility?
I feel like, my instinct is to say that that it was like Law or even maybe Smoker, or I don't know.
But why wouldn't they say that?
I know, but now that we've read enough One Piece to know that if something is not shown, and maybe it was I guess it couldn't have been Momo, but
no.
But now that reading enough One Piece, we know that if it hasn't been explicitly shown or talked about or resolved, then it is going to be something crazy. But my gut instinct when reading that was like, oh yeah, it was probably just one of the people.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then they like you said, we got further along, and it was never mentioned. He never really talks about it again. I think he maybe thinks about like who sent that note.
Yeah.
But because then they like flash to Monet, and you think it's Monet, but it's not.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't just explicitly said. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Or maybe it'll turn out to be nothing.
Maybe.
I
like the Gomu UFO.
I doubt it though. Yeah, that was a really cool move.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was a really
I
cool
really
move.
liked that one.
Another moment that I want to go back and see in action.
Oh yeah.
But this is where Caesar, he's starting to close the gates on everybody, and trap everybody.
He's gatekeeping.
He's gatekeeping.
Woo!
And he does it about I don't know how many times.
I can't count.
And I get it, right? He's trying to trap the gas in. He's trying to funnel people in, and then once they're all in the same spot, he's trying to open the gate again, so the gas that was out there is now coming in here. There's a very practical reason for why he's doing what he's doing, but it is just like, as a reader, it's like, all right, let's just have it happen, and not keep
clowning around,
not have to keep seeing it happening over and over and over. But this is where this was a cool moment too. Again, a lot of cool moments. The G5 crew, some of them get petrified, and they're trying to. Tashigi is very, and this is like out of everything in Punk Hazard, something that I like the most about this part 2 is just Tashigi's development.
Yeah, she is a highlight for this arc for me. I mean, it's like Law and Tashigi.
Yeah.
I liked her when we read her, back in the day, when she was first introduced. Like, her whole interactions with Zoro were really cool. And I just liked her as a character, but damn, like, she really shined. She really shined. And you could just tell, like, that's what a naval officer should be. It shouldn't be never backing down from, help from others just because they're on different sides. It doesn't mean that they're completely bad people.
Well, yeah,
there's not bad people on, there's bad people on both sides, but not all of them are bad on both sides. And she realized that. She realized the position that they're in and was, like, making smart decisions. She kind of had to, like, force Smoker to, like, kind of see that throughout it, but damn, yeah, she really stood up as, like, the officer. She really stood up as the leader of this group.
Yeah, and that's what I love about them, and even Kobe, and I guess kind of Helmeppo too. But we do get to see that there are good people. I think Kuzan was one of those people as well. That Aokiji were good people. There were good people and are good people in the Navy, and it's not filled with a bunch of Akainus.
That was a highlight for me too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it is interesting because they do mention Akainu. Like, I can't wait to show him these weapons because he's going to be totally proud, and it just goes to show, like, both sides and kind of like that mystery of, like, where he stands. And I have a theory about that too.
Really?
And the end of Punk Hazard was like, okay, lit.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, Tashigi and I think, Monet's fight was probably highlight fight for me.
Yeah.
She's
I'd
crazy.
I would say that, and I did really like the Law Smoker fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of how it was kind of resolved at the very end.
Yeah.
And, kind of Doflamingo being on the phone, trying to bait Law, or trying to tell him, like, you just got this fear, like, it is ingrained in you. And no matter how strong you are, you will always be afraid of Virgo, and there will never be anything you can do to defeat him. And Law just cuts him in half. I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. And I loved. Okay, we'll get to it.
Yeah,
we'll get to it.
But so this is again with the people. This is just a moment that I wrote down because I thought it was a sweet moment, where everybody's trying to protect Tashigi. Tashigi's trying to protect her man. Tashigi really does want to try her best to be a great leader, and a great leader is also a leader that protects her crew. But her crew is trying to protect her, and just her looking back at the soldiers because they are helping her get through, and then they just kind of look at her petrified with their thumbs in the air. I thought that was a very sweet moment.
It really was. It really was. And yeah, I loved this G5 crew.
They're a band of misfits, but I love them.
They're funny. They had some really funny lines, and their reactions to things are really funny. Like at the end too, that heartwarming moment with them and the kids. Like, and again, I mean, don't get me wrong, the kids were great, but a lot of time on the kids.
Well, that's kind of my point. And don't come at me. I'm sorry if, Punk Hazard is your favorite arc, but that's what I mean. It just felt like there was a lot of time spent on kind of like the same thing. And it's like, Oda has done that before. One Piece has done that before, but I've always cared way more than I cared. And I think because like there was some progression of events that I felt like was occurring, but here it just kind of felt like the stakes were high, but they were the same kind of high, and they were the same kind of stakes. And it was just like the kids were angry for a really long time. People are running around for a really long time. And so, yeah, I kind of felt the same. Like, love the kids, love Mocha. Love the Mocha moment.
Mocha moment.
Loved her Mocha
Hi,
moment.
can I get one scoop of Mocha moment?
Yeah, give me a second. I need to have a Mocha moment real quick.
That's like a t-shirt. Like
yeah.
I need my Mocha moment.
Yeah, that like probably Pinterest, already is a t-shirt. But yeah, it just was a lot of it. And so I guess my big thing about Punk Hazard is that I do feel like as cool as the cool moments were, I still feel like it could have benefited a lot from being tightened up, And I only say that because, Oda had talked about going on this hiatus that he's going to be going on to prepare for the final saga, he talked about in his letter, like wanting to tighten up the story that he's currently kind of working on. So I know that's part of the process, but maybe there are times where he's not able to really take that time because of deadlines or whatever, or he's already kind of started, or there is a reason for it that I'll look back on Punk Hazard and realize like, oh no, it needed that time. Oh no, it needed that pacing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, yeah, I just felt like it could have been and really benefited from being condensed and shortened a little bit.
Yeah,
especially in this second half.
I agree.
But there's a dragon in the room, and this is interesting too because at this point we've seen 2 dragons. We see a third later on, but at this point we've seen 2. It leads me to believe one thing. One thing is I think that the first dragon we saw was a modified, artificially, genetically modified or genetically created animal dragon. But also, now that we know that there's artificial zone devil fruits that can be just given out and made and replicated, I don't know. Can Vegapunk and his technology, can it make the same, because usually with a legitimate, real, genuine devil fruit, I believe, based on what I understand, that only one can exist of its kind. There can be different models, but one of that model can exist at a time. So can multiple dragon fruits?
I think so. And I also think that, you can't eat 2 devil fruits, but you can maybe eat 1 devil fruit and an artificial one.
Okay.
Because maybe they don't have the same rules. And
that's an
that
interesting
would
theory.
Be crazy.
But my big question is, did Luffy eat a human? Did Luffy eat a human? Did Luffy slice the head off a human and eat a human?
I mean, technically he was a dragon at the time, so.
I don't think he did. I think that'd be crazy. But when I first read that, I was like, oh, because
he's
this
a
dragon,
cannibal.
this dragon, so you like him more now.
Luffy cannibal confirmed.
When they're running around from this dragon in the facility, I thought like, oh, is this dragon? Once I found that out, I was like, is this dragon someone who ate an experiment, a soldier who ate, or a scientist, even a guinea pig who ate an artificial devil fruit?
Well,
which made me think back to that moment with Luffy, and I'm like, this man might have just decapitated and ate a human being.
What I think is we never really see Momonosuke like fight with like changing too much into a dragon.
Right.
So I think they were actually dragons because they would have been able to talk for one. And they would have been more human-like. I mean, there was like one that was like kind of nice, and then it went like full not nice.
Yeah.
So we never saw that through him. If we did, like him being like okay, and then him being like, oh, the dragon is getting to me, like it would have made more sense. But
no, and I'm more so just to clarify, I'm more so just being silly.
You're being silly. You're pulling my leg.
Yeah, I'm pulling your leg. But I did think, wow. That would be crazy. But I also know that Oda wouldn't make Luffy eat a person. Or maybe he would.
I mean, freaking, what is it? Zeph ate his own leg.
That's true. That is true. That is very true. So Virgo shows up, kills some G5 guys. This was a pretty sad moment for them because it's clear that Virgo has done a good job at pretending that he's a good guy, so much so that all these soldiers look up to him, love him, and care about him more than just as a leader. And it seems like almost like a father figure.
And it's like, what? Okay, so this is where I was like, not kind of confused, but I wasn't sure because were they just saying like, oh my God, he could never do this. It's not him. It's definitely not him. It's someone else. It's something different. Like, is that actually him or
no?
Maybe-
it is. It's actually him, 100%.
It is?
That was just played as a sweet moment for Tashigi. Because they show the love that he had for them in the flashback to him telling Smoker, like, yeah, you'll work. These guys are abandoned misfits. You'll work for them long enough that you'll get a good understanding of who they are. You might even grow to become very fond of them. And so Tashigi and Smoker don't have the heart to tell them that this guy that they look up to has betrayed them. So... And they believe it so wholeheartedly, just kind of like, it's funny because Caesar's men kind of feel the same way about him, but they believe that he is such a good guy that there's no way he can do that. So that's how they rationalized it. But go ahead.
Yeah, but then Sanji goes ahead and says, like, what are you, made of metal? Well, because I think you're made of metal, right? Is that his devil fruit ability?
I think that probably has something to do with his devil fruit. But
Or does it mean he's a freaking another version of a pacifista? Maybe people are getting plugged from their positions and put into being not real people.
in terms
Because
of
anything
a theory,
could be possible. And I was just, they kind of like stayed on that. Even Tashiki was like, he would never do that. That's not him. And I understand the rationalization of like, how could this person ever be this person that we didn't think they were? But the fact that they kept saying it and even Sanji said it, I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, he just straight up says that. You're probably made of metal or something. Was that because he has the devil fruit? I was kind of confused on his ability too, because he kind of hardened.
It's also the hockey. He has the same. That's what Doflamingo also says when he's trying to get to Law about not being able to defeat him or cut him, because he says like, I think it's the armament hockey. He says that I could be saying that wrong, but he basically says that his armament hockey is so strong you'll never be able to cut through it. So that I think he has a devil fruit ability, and that why he is so like hard, I guess, is because of his hockey, that he is very proficient in that type of. So because you can have a devil fruit and obviously be a user of hockey, which can also give you different abilities. So I think that's what it was. I mean, I'm not discounting your theory. I think that,
Which it all makes sense, but I was just like, okay, why do they keep bringing it up? But I mean, again, that was like, Sanji had a good fight. This is a line. I, heard the sound of a lady's tears falling. I'm like, that's the Sanji I want to see. That chivalrous man more. For me personally, that was a good moment. I was like, you get little glimpses and slivers of like that Sanji love come back, and then something happens and it kind of discounts it. But that was a great moment, I think.
I think Sanji for the most part was pretty great.
I would say the back half.
This back half, he was pretty great. I love that moment.
And the cooking.
And I thought the cooking, and I thought the moment with him, it was funny how the guys kept complimenting him and be like, thank you so much, dude, thank you. And he's like, I don't want to hear thanks from you. I want to hear it from the ladies.
It's like, okay, I'll be waiting for a long time then, Sanji.
Yeah, keep waiting.
Keep waiting, Sanji.
But Sanji was pretty cool in this back half. I really did enjoy him. So after that, and that was a pretty sad moment. We see kind of Virgo going off on these guys, and Sanji kicking him into a wall was cool to see. Cuts back to Caesar, who's reopening some more gates, but we
yelling
do get
some
to
more
see,
orders,
being two-faced. But we do see how ruthless he is in terms of like Virgo being set up to be this very formidable like a person who you do want on your side, especially someone like Caesar, who's more of a scientific mind. I mean, I know he's got the gas fruit and he's very capable. But I do think he does need people around like Monet and Virgo
for sure
to help protect him. But we do see how quick he is to turn on even these strong adversaries that he has or bodyguards that he has, because I think it's Monet who says, if you release the gas, then you're gonna like petrify Virgo and you're gonna kill Virgo. And he's like, well, Virgo went off on his own and did what he had to do. But Virgo's of course doing it because he's like, this isn't about you anymore, Caesar. This is about me and my position and everything I've worked for. Yeah. And if this gets out, I'm done.
And even Doflamingo's like, goodbye, like friend, like, so long. Like I'm sure that if Caesar were to tell Doflamingo, like, yeah, I'm going to like kill him, I'm going to leave him to the gas, he would have been like, no, this is a very important person I need in my fleet of connections. You're not going to do that. Yeah. Because Caesar was kind of just like doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. Because he does have that power, because he's the only one that could, make smileys at this point. Yeah. So he knows that he can kind of get away with a lot with Doflamingo for sure.
Yeah. At this point, we see this is just a funny moment that I really liked. It doesn't really have any impact on the overall story, but I really love this moment with Luffy and Smoker when they were like running to find Caesar, or to Caesar's location. And, Smoker can just turn into smoke and kind of float there, and Luffy has to run. And there's just this really funny moment of Luffy in front of the door, like they're like Smoker's got his finger on the button to open it, and Luffy's like, give me a second. give me a second. I'm so tired. And Smoker's like, you good now? And he's like, no, I'll tell you when I'm good. I'm not good. I need to catch my breath. That was just a funny moment.
I loved the running when they all get on freaking Brownbeard's back. And they're like, do you have any snacks back here? They're like, get off me.
You mind if we hang up our coats back here? Is that cool?
They're like, there's just no other option. We're tired of running. And he's like, that's not a good reason. Get off of me. Yeah. That was really, really funny.
He's like, I'm the one running. We're like, we barely made it through. And he's like, I'm the one who barely made it through.
They just all hop on at one point. Like, it's the freaking Thousand Sunny. They're all on there.
It was very funny, though. A lot of funny moments.
And I mean, this next moment with it's so funny how, I don't know how much I trust Law at this point. Because he is very, he knows exactly what he's doing, knows exactly what he's trying to do, and he just has plans that you don't even know about. They're like, he's gonna get to SAG, like this is why he became an emperor in the first, not emperor, a freaking warlord in the first place. I was like, what?
Well, I do think that there's a moment where I think it was Robin, and it might have been in this half or in the first half, but it was in Punk Hazard, where she talks about, and I think it was her, talks about betrayals are also part of alliances. And they do say that, I think, once or twice. So, again, why say that if that's something that might not end up happening or it might not seem like it's happening later on? Yeah,
Caesar even says, he's going to turn on you at some point. But they said the same thing about Robin,
Yeah, that's true.
But I believe that because maybe, the way Luffy's running the show a little bit, Law might get a little irked.
Yeah, well, I think Law, like you said, Law is using the Straw Hats and Luffy as it ends to his means. And I don't think he's trying to hide that at all.
No.
I could see him maybe doing a little bit of betrayal, but I also don't think it would ever really be that bad because despite Law being this very extremely calculated and meticulously thought out, planned person, he still doesn't like death or unnecessary deaths or killing people or hurting people. So even if he were to betray them, I don't think it might be on a crazy level, but I can't imagine that he would do anything to really put them in major harm.
But I mean, I feel like any type of betrayal towards Luffy would be crushed. And someone in the comments even said Law said he wouldn't betray him, so he's not going to. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. It's just funny. Luffy would just feel, because he's put his trust into this person, that would crush him, especially because it's his first kind of pirate alliance, on that level with another crew. It's not going to, he's going to take it very, very personally. Yeah. Even if they're on the same type of side,
Yeah, yeah. And it's inevitable. There's going to come a point where, I don't even know, outside of betrayal, there's going to come a point where the alliance has served its purpose.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to not have that alliance anymore. And I think Law's been pretty clear about that too. We are one day going to have to be enemies. I think he's been pretty clear about that.
And
too.
Also, I mean, we get confirmation. I don't know if I guess we can wait on this because I was kind of oh, dang, Luffy.
What?
The when they kind of blurred out the real plan is or what emperor they want to take down.
Oh yeah.
Luffy's I want to take on all four.
Yeah.
So at least Shanks isn't first, but he's on the list still.
And I don't mean to say I told you so, but
you did.
I told you, dude. He doesn't that is his goal. I mean, that is what he wants to. I mean, to be king of the pirates,
he has to.
You have to take down all the emperors. So I mean, I knew he had. Obviously, everybody knows he has a connection to Shanks, but that doesn't matter. I think that, Shanks is an emperor and Shanks is just someone he has to surpass. Doesn't mean he has to kill him, but I mean,
he has to kill him.
He has to
shank him.
I like it. I like it a lot. It just means he has to defeat him and be stronger than him. Even
Shanks is you did a good job, dude. I'm just going to get down for my position. But who knows?
Yeah, that is going to be crazy, though.
Who knows?
But we do get a little bit of a flashback to Law telling Smoker that he needs to follow his orders while they're on this island because Virgo and Caesar still have his heart. So, and that's going to come into play later. Caesar does some other moves. One move is he has a lightsaber now.
Yeah.
And why not?
Why not?
Virgo ditches Sanji to go check on the SAD because over the intercom, they're announcing that Law is going after the SAD, the SAD. And Doflamingo is on the phone with Virgo, and that's where we get our first glimpse of Baby 5, which was cool.
Pissed. I love it. I love how she's just literally trying to assassinate him in front of all of his men. They're like, chill, baby, chill.
Yeah.
Baby girl, chill.
But we find out why later, and it is very funny.
It is hilarious.
It's very funny.
And she is such a funny character.
Yeah.
She just can't say no. She
Yeah.
just can't say no.
Yeah.
And they're like, you need to, that's why he's looking after you, because you literally just say, you accept anyone's love because you just want to be loved, and it's like, oh, he needs me.
Yeah.
It's such a funny.
Well, it's funny too
thing.
because the first time we see her, it's like, you killed my fiance. And then when they're on their way,
yeah,
she says it again, and he's like, yeah, I mean, that was like your fourth fiance. You can't just keep. And then they show the guy who proposed to her.
It was love at first sight.
Yeah, and he's just like the goofiest looking, like,
there's like a
wapple looking guy.
Sussy people behind, like with like evil intentions.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, girl, like you need a little. Someone
Yeah.
needs to keep you in check a little bit. Okay,
Doflamingo.
you can't keep saying yes to everyone. Okay.
But I love this line from good old Dofi. He says to Virgo and to everybody, Caesar, I think as well, but I think mostly to Virgo. He says, kill him so atrociously and so wretchedly that he regrets being born. I mean, we know that Doflamingo does not fuck around.
No.
We saw that for sure in Marineford, that he does not fuck around.
They call him the Joker, but he don't got no jokes. Okay.
Nah, dude,
He don't joke about shit.
Yeah, he's on some fucking Joaquin Phoenix shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love that we're finally going to get more of him and just see more of how twisted and how evil and how maybe even complex, or because there's a mention of his backstory.
I believe he is a very complex character because he has a lot of moving parts, and his kind of clear goal is, would you say it's like developed yet? I mean, I can't wait to see like Law and his kind of backstory, their story,
Yes.
how they're connected, and yeah, it's gonna be.
I feel like
lit.
right now, I feel like he is just, as they stated in this part of the arc, that he is just the most trusted criminal underground. I don't know, a seller.
Sleazeball.
Yeah, I mean, he has protection because he's a warlord, and I really do feel like he just wants to take full advantage of and have connections to and
control
maybe, and hands in all these things. I don't know how interested he is necessarily in being like, I know he's interested in obviously being strong and having this like status and being able to do all these things that he's doing, but I don't know how interested he is in being like king of the pirates or anything. Like, I kind of think he's sitting pretty comfy where he's at right now.
They kind of said
likes
that.
it.
Monet kind of says that, like, you're fit to be the
they
king
do
of the
say that,
pirates.
though.
I don't know if he necessarily wants that, but I mean, if he has connections to all these things and he's able to control all these people, like, it would only make sense. It's like, yeah, that's the top of the list is king of the pirates.
Yeah.
Even, for Luffy's reason, it's different than his.
And maybe he does, maybe he does want that. And I think we're going to get that in Dressrosa, or hopefully we
sure.
do. But, this is an interesting line, too, from Kinemon, who says that the people of Wano have a score to settle with Dragonkind. And this is just letting us a little bit more in on the people of Wano. And now that people have told us in the comments that there are things, there was a comment that we even got recently from somebody that said, do not, now that you've been introduced to Momo and Kinemon, do not, whatever you do, just because you've been introduced to them, do not look anything, do not Google them, do not look anything up, because there's so much that's going to happen to and with their characters. So don't spoil yourself. So now I'm just paying attention to, and it does seem like Oda's being very almost heavy-handed and very purposeful with these things that he is dropping when he's talking about Wano. He's really, at this point, Punk Hazard, and even back in Thriller Bark, he has been building Wano up to be this very mysterious place, or this very interesting place, or this place that you should pay attention to whenever anything is mentioned about it.
Oh yeah,
which is super interesting
for sure. And yeah, even like their revelation of Kaido was kind of crazy, because sometimes you always kind of, their people of the place kind of have like I don't know, maybe like hints about someone being corrupt or someone doing something, like they reacted like they had no idea. Him and Momo reacted like Kaido.
Yeah.
They're like, and then, you know, his face is like, that's why, or like, oh, I understand now. Like, that was kind of crazy. And I, you know, it'll get fleshed out. I want to know why, but why they reacted that way so, like, intensely, it was very interesting.
Yeah, and, you know, there's someone on Dressrosa, too, someone that's being held there. One of the people that's being held there. I wonder who that is.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of Luffy versus Monet, but that results in Luffy falling down like a ventilator shaft or something, or trash chute down to the underground. Mocha's running around trying to protect the candy, and Caesar again has planned to lure everybody into the same room and unleash the gas despite who's there. But this is where Luffy meets Monosuke, the dragon. Which this is where I perked up a little bit. I was like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because this dragon can talk. Obviously, we hear the name, so we know this is Kinemon's son. And we saw, I think, a little bit earlier, I forgot exactly what kid it was. I don't know if it was Mocha, but it was a kid who was talking to some of the guards in like the hazmat-looking suit, saying like, hey, whatever happened to that little boy that I came on the boat with? You know, the little boy that turned into a dragon? And I was like,
what?
Huh? And now we get to see more about that, or how exactly that happened. And I mean, I like this a lot. Like,
I loved his character so much, and he's you know the same as his dad, you know, refusing to eat, refusing to get any handouts because he's a, you know, samurai, he's a warrior.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what they do. And he just got so hungry, he just saw the first thing that he could possibly eat, and of course it was the what are they called?
The artificial devil
smiley
fruit.
The smileys or whatever.
Well, they're called Smile.
Smile, yeah.
Smile, Sad and Smile.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, you know, am I looking too deep into it? But where's that Ace hat I have?
Oh yeah, there is
that.
that.
Because Ace has like a smile and a sad face, a smiley face and a sad. I mean, I might be looking too deep into things, but I don't know. It's One Piece, guys. Yeah, and there was some interesting stuff too with him, because when he meets Luffy, you know, he's being, because he's a samurai and all, you know, warrior, and he has you know, all these this honor that he's trying to you know, just maintain his honor. He refuses to eat, so he's hungry, and Luffy's kind of giving him a hard time at a certain point, and Luffy says to him, like, you need to get a grip.
Yeah.
And when he says get a grip, like, he, you know, I'm, you know, sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but Momonosuke says, like, you know, sees Doflamingo and gets afraid, and said earlier that how he even got on that boat is, I think he like snuck on. Did he say he was a stowaway, or he snuck on? Like, why was he on that boat? If I remember specifically, and let me know in the comments down below if I'm wrong, but he didn't get kidnapped. It seemed like he actually, no, I know that he didn't get kidnapped, because later on, when he goes missing from the biscuit room or whatever, the guards, there's a line from the guards who say, one of the kids got out, but we did a head count on all the kids, and none of them are missing. So he did sneak onto that boat. Why would he sneak onto that boat? And what is his connection and fear that he has of Doflamingo? Why did he, when Luffy said that, did he see Doflamingo?
Yeah. I mean, maybe because Doflamingo, I mean, they did mention that they're holding someone from Wano. Maybe he snuck on the boat to maybe like save their honor, maybe to rescue them, and then kind of bit off a little bit more they can chew.
Maybe it's Momo's mama.
It's Momo's mama.
But yeah, I now that you're saying that makes sense. Like, he might have done that. He might have like taken it into his own hands, or tried to take it into his own hands and save whoever's on Dressrosa. Maybe he thought that's where that boat was going. I don't know. But yeah, this is where we get introduced to even the concept of artificial devil fruits, and wow, the implications of what is to come, or what could be to come because of that is wild.
I mean, yeah, so many reveals, and again, who's already eaten these things that we've met or haven't met yet? How are they able to control them? Like, there's just so many questions.
There's a line too later, and I went back and I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it in time. But it's something along the lines of, I think it's Caesar who is, because Vegapunk is was the one who discovered this.
Yeah.
Created this. Caesar has the knowledge and is able to do it as well, replicate it or whatever. I don't know if his artificial devil fruits are slightly different. Maybe they're slightly less perfected than maybe Vegapunk's were. But he says something about where he kind of scoffs at someone who's talking about it. And he says, oh, it's no big deal. Like, it's just like it's a bloodline thing or something. Like he says something about either a bloodline thing or a blood thing. I'm wondering if he is somehow able to either I guess again, I can't remember if it's the word bloodline, because if it was, then that has different implications. But I'm wondering if it's just blood in general, then it would mean that he would have to just acquire the blood of a certain devil fruit user to be able to replicate this thing. And I also wonder, do the artificial devil fruits pass into other fruits too, or do they die with their users? A lot, like I said, a lot of questions. This is where we get the Zoro Tashigi Monet fight.
So sick.
Another highlight.
So sick.
This was awesome.
Monet was menacing. When she freaking took a little chunk out of Tashigi's arm, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that was really, really cool. And of course, Oda has to always throw these little, like villain defects. They're like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. She's so hot. And then she's like kind of like blushing. And they're like, why are you so weak to compliments?
I like that.
I always like that. But she really, was kicking ass. And I even like how Monet kind of like has mentioned before, like with Luffy or some other people, she goes like, yeah, she's kind of like picking her battles. Like, yeah, I know I can't win against you.
Yeah.
Or I thought I couldn't win against you, but maybe my, chances are higher. But I really, really did like that fight.
Yeah. And there's a moment where they talk about Zoro not being able to deliver the finishing blow because he considers women to be weaker than he is. But I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's still this thing that he's dealing with because he was so hung up on this childhood friend of his being a girl and being so much stronger than he was. So I do think, it is still just him kind of not being able to deliver a finishing blow because there's something holding him back from his childhood. I could be completely off base with that, but
we even get that like line when they're kind of like talking about that, and he goes like, would you ever like, have a guarantee that a wild beast wouldn't ever attack a woman or something? Yeah. He's like implying that he's a wild beast.
He is.
And I was like, he kind of is.
No, he is.
And that scene with the slice, I was like he's just slicing and dicing like all the way through.
Yeah.
And we've seen his development for his like hockey and everything like that, but I mean, I don't even think we've touched the surface with like what Mihawk has shown him.
Oh no, not at all.
Which is like really, really cool. And I wish we got more of that, like more of those training.
I think we will. I think those will slowly start to reveal themselves.
Yeah.
But also, let me know your thoughts on that moment too, in the comments below, because I thought that was a moment that maybe Tashigi was misreading Zoro a little bit.
I mean, he doesn't even try to like defend himself. He's just like, okay, I'm just gonna go sit over here now. After she kind of says that, he goes like, what are you even talking about? Like, who do you think I am? Do you think I'm a joke? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, then.
Yeah. Yeah, because I just don't see Zoro as being necessarily that way.
I feel like we've been told that before.
I do think it's, again, though, a hang up from his childhood friend.
Yeah.
I think he's still, again, we already know that he definitely sees her in Tashigi because when they first met, he calls her a copycat. If it isn't the copycat, because to him, she looks exactly like her and is also proficient with the sword. So he can't help but see her in Tashigi. But why this would like affect him delivering a final blow or not on Monet is a little more blurry.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he even said like, I was just trying to keep her from getting away. I don't think he was trying to necessarily like kill her.
Yeah.
He's like, we kind of did our job in keeping her at bay and not going, after everyone else. So
yeah,
that was the goal.
It was a highlight moment, though. It was a highlight moment for Tashigi. It was kind of a highlight moment for Zoro. I mean, Monet was a really cool villain antagonist in that moment. that was a really cool scene. Then we see Smoker. It cuts back to Smoker and Virgo. Smoker seems to be losing. Seems to be getting his ass whooped by Virgo. But because we did see Virgo go into the room where Law was at and kind of electrocute Law, or
he has his heart still, so he was like, oh,
squeezing his heart,
pulling out his heartstrings, if you will,
pulling on his heartstrings, squeezing his heart, like everyone's exes.
Putting their heart in a box,
Yeah,
boxing it up,
locking it away,
and abusing it.
Yep. So we saw Law kind of struggling. Smoker shows up, seems to continue to struggle, but I love the reveal where Law now has his heart back.
It's like, thanks, dude.
Yeah, he's like, the deal has been like fulfilled.
The deal is shit.
Yeah. And that was such a badass moment. Because Smoker's like, at a certain point, he's like, are you done, Law? Did you do what you needed to? Can I stop getting my ass beat now? And you're like, oh, damn, this is awesome.
And I loved, he's been calling him Virgo the whole time. And then once he gets his heart back, then he's like, Mr. Virgo. Because he's always like, that's Mr. Virgo to you. Yeah. He's like, okay, I'll call you Mister when I beat your ass.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. Such a hype moment. Such a sick ass moment. And that whole moment after, again, we've already kind of talked about it, where Doflamingo basically is trying to get in his head or is trying to play with him and whatever. And he just slices that man in half easily and goes on this whole thing about, the war was just a prologue. You yourself like to say that a new age is coming. And he said something along the lines
with unmatched power and no one can turn back.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and he says too, like, what do you think everybody's been doing? They haven't been acting much, but it's almost like you could say they're preparing for something. You yourself said a new age is coming. I was like, damn, Law. Like, that was
Law turned it.
That was the sickest Law moment. Yeah. I mean, that was awesome. That was like awesome. That was maybe the highlight moment.
And that was towards the end of volume 69, and I have to say, volume 69 did not disappoint.
Well, it's volume 69. It better not.
Yeah.
You better have some crazy shit in volume 69, and I expect the same for volume 420. I know we're still a lot of volumes away from that, but I mean, maybe that's where it'll end. The last volume 420.
That'd be insane.
Sick.
That'd be insane.
Oda's like, I'm going to make this the longest arc ever just so I can do that. That was awesome, man. That was such a cool moment. Virgo, this is what I said. Virgo tells Law in that moment, he said, you know nothing of Joker's past and it will be your downfall, which leads me to believe again, like we said, that Doflamingo is being shown to be, he is shown to be a little complex. He's has some sort of agreement or some sort of alliance with some Navy officer high up. And obviously has his hands in the criminal underground and all these things, and he does just seem very ruthless, but at the same time, with not knowing with Virgo hinting at his past, I don't know. That just makes me very curious to see exactly what part he plays or how he came to be the person he is, or what events led him to be this.
And we see Doflamingo, and he seems very in control of everything. He seems very confident in his like approach to everything or what he's doing. But the minute he is kind of explained, like, yeah, if you do this and you don't supply to Kaido, like Kaido's gonna be very angry. And this like kind of scares the shit out of Doflamingo. Like, he seems very scared of this Kaido fellow.
To me, I mean, I think he's obviously a little scared maybe, or he's just a little like, I don't know if it's scared necessarily, or if he just really does not want to deal with that. Cause that's kind of how he acts too. Like when someone else shows up later at the very end, he kind of just walks away. He's like, I'm not here to deal with this right now. And he just kind of walks away.
He knows the stakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's very aware of like what he is capable of, and when he's kind of either outmatched or
when he should back down.
He should back down because it's going to be inconvenient for him, his operation, what he's trying to achieve. So in terms of the whole Kaido thing, like the vibe, I could definitely see that vibe. But I get the vibe too that he's just like, yeah, he's also a very smart guy, and he's also like someone who's not going to necessarily let his pride of stepping down from being a warlord get in the way of like what he's really trying to do. Whereas I think maybe someone like a Spandam or someone, even like a Caesar is so prideful that they wouldn't do that. But he's a little more calculated, and he's I think playing the long game. So to me, it's almost like Doflamingo saying like, I'll do what you want to do. I'll step down, like because I still do think, in some way, because again we don't know about his past. In some way, I still think he feels like he's in control, and he's kind of letting Law maybe think that he's in control. I don't know that for certain. He could just be genuinely terrified of Kaido, and that might also be a part of it. But yeah, I don't know. Just kind of my thoughts right now. This is where, Caesar's people, they find out he's a fucking asshole. Baby Five and Buffalo show up. And this was crazy. This is what I love about One Piece, that sometimes people get split up and there's so much going on. There's so many things happening, so many different groups in so many different places doing so many different things that inevitably sometimes certain people are going to feel like you're going to kind of, Frankie's one of my favorite characters and I almost forgot what he was up to, or that he wasn't with everybody. There was a line where he did say like, I'm going to go check on the Mary. I'm going to go bring it around, or Sunny, I'm going to go bring it around. I'm going to go do what I got to do. There was a moment where he did do that, but I just forgot. And so when I see him in the Iron Pirate as General Frankie, I was like, let's go. I love it. I'll never not love it. It's the coolest thing ever. I'm just like Chopper. I'm just like Luffy. I'm just like Usopp. Whenever I see this thing, I get little stars in my eyes too. And so this fight was pretty fun to me too. Yeah. Mostly also because Frankie had no idea really what was happening. But
yeah, he was so removed, and he's like, oh, I guess.
Yeah.
And we get that awesome line with Usopp. And Usopp and Nami had a cute little moment too, where they're like, "We're gonna do it. We're gonna defeat them." And then Sanji's like, "Okay, just get to it. Like, you don't have to keep talking about it." Yeah. But you dare slander my captain in front of me? Like, Caesar's the man that type of man that Luffy hates the most. And I was like, Usopp.
Yeah, that was Usopp's moment in the control room,
captain.
In the secret room, when he was saying like, he delivered that whole line about Luffy and how he'll always we always put our trust in him, and he'll always with that trust that we put in him, he'll always deliver. He's that kind of guy. And it was just it was Usopp, great. The way Usopp said it, it was a lot more beautiful than that.
He was lit.
But he was really lit. This is where we also get to see, Baby Five a little bit more of her devil fruit abilities, and I absolutely love her devil fruit abilities.
Arms fruit.
So sick.
So sick.
I mean, she's turning into missiles and she's turning into swords.
It is one of the best. I would argue. I mean, you just have an arsenal. You can make yourself into one. I think she can even make them for herself.
Maybe, but yeah.
So awesome. But she's also just a hilarious character. She can't say no, and she has tears in her eyes. And I can't wait to see more of her.
Yeah, I can't wait for more Baby Five. This is where we cut back to Monet, and she's trying to sacrifice herself by hitting the self-destruct button that's going to cause the same sort of cataclysmic event.
Doflamingo simp, yeah.
She's a little bit of a simp.
Simpy, and she's evil. She's pretty evil. Yeah, she's I'm going to take out all those fucking kids.
Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck.
She really doesn't.
But we see her plan is kind of foiled because it seems like they've fucked up the pipes, or they fucked up whatever. And
that awesome moment too.
Yeah.
When Caesar kind of just assumed that it was Law's heart, or was it Smoker's heart?
He was convinced it was Smoker's heart.
And he just Law didn't say anything. He's like, okay, if you want to, that's your assistant's heart. So.
Yeah, I'm going to let you think whatever you want to think.
And it was awesome. I mean, Caesar's all fucked up, and he, because he got beat up, and he's like, oh, I'm going to take someone out with me.
Yeah, because Luffy basically was supposed to kidnap Caesar, but ended up hitting him so hard that he flew out of the facility. And Law's like, what are you doing, man? We got to go get him. We got to kidnap him, or else Doflamingo's going to get him, and he's going to still be able to produce this sad stuff that's going to allow him to produce Smile. So we need to go get him.
Luffy's like, I just didn't want to capture him anymore. I'm like, Luffy.
Like, Luffy, come on, dude. Zoro told you to do the job right.
This is the new world, okay?
So yeah, that's what Baby Five and Buffalo are there to get Caesar back, and that's what kind of Frankie's trying to prevent until everybody else kind of shows up. But Caesar's just laying there, and he's like, if I'm gonna go out, if this is it for me, at least I get to take somebody else out with me.
He's slurring.
Yeah,
his lines are slurred.
And then we see that it was Monet's heart. And Monet's like,
And when he's like Monet, answer me. And it was awesome. I mean, I knew it was him. I knew it was Aokiji when he's like, I overslept. And he's just like on this little island. I was like, that's him.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know it was him.
I knew it. I was like, who else is a sleepy character who doesn't really have any urgency in time? It's got to be Aokiji.
I had no idea.
And that big penguin reveal. And the SBS, he said that it's like confirmed that ever since he left, he's had this like penguin companion, and you can't call him cute because he's really mad about being called cute.
That's funny.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
But not only is Aokiji on the way, but Doflamingo's on the way too.
Fucking flying?
And he's like flying. Dude. I love the way he's just like, it looks like he's like swimming through the air or like flying or like running through the air. I mean, it looks crazy in the manga, but it looks cool because it is like this like erratic, like sort of
it's scary.
Almost like scary.
He's on his way. He's a scary man. Dude. He's a scary man.
It's crazy. I got to go back and see what that looks like in the anime. I hope it doesn't look like he's just kind of floating through the air because he does look like he's like, I got to get over there now.
Yeah.
But this is where Usopp has a cool moment. And Nami have a cool moment, but Usopp is the one who, because we do see Robin go off for a second.
Robin's always kind
Robin is dipping in and out of this whole arc. Like she's just, again, at the end of part 1, I was like, oh my God, dude, Robin finally gets to be a part of this fucking epic team with like, it looked like it was going to be Law, Luffy, Smoker, Tashigi, Robin, like some Impel Down shit. I was like, let's fucking go. And then no, they didn't really, that didn't really happen. But Robin was sent to go do something, and we see that she was sent to collect Sea Prism cuffs. And
come in handy. They came in
come
handy.
In very, very handy. And Usopp just fires them off and grabs Buffalo and Baby 5 with him.
And even though Law, I mean, you know how Law, he doesn't necessarily kill people, but just the way it's so graphic. I mean, when Doflamingo finally gets to the area, he sees Baby 5 and the other guy on his team, like they're beheaded and they're just on this ship in front of Law's little freaking. I was like,
transponder snail. Yeah.
It was so crazy.
Yeah, Law's the GOAT. And someone even said in the comments, like, because I'm pretty sure this is the case. They're like, damn, yeah, can you believe that Law was an afterthought for Oda? Like, apparently he felt like, I think it was Sabaody wasn't interesting enough.
Or Kid too.
All of the worst generation, all of them. Like, and someone, I guess maybe it was an editor, said, yeah, it would be nice if Luffy had, or you threw in some other pirates that, were kind of on Luffy's level or kind of, around his age or whatever. And so Oda was like, yeah, give me a sec. And just came up with the coolest thing ever. Came up with like, the coolest character ever.
They're literally making alliances. And like, what does that entail? Like, damn.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. This is where we get to see a little bit of the Kinemon and Momonosuke reunion. Because, Kinemon was kind of petrified. I don't know if this has to do with anything. I'm assuming because he's a warrior samurai. They do say that a lot of the people that were petrified, they're petrified, but it's going to take a while for the poison to do what it needs to do to kill him.
So they can go back into the facility and like save him. And I mean, he was throughout like half of the arc towards the end. He was like, I killed my son.
Yeah.
I sliced my son up.
Yeah.
I sliced him up. I didn't know he was a fucking dragon.
How was I supposed to know?
His wife's like, you didn't know he would be a dragon. How the hell?
I would have known if he was a dragon.
I would have known my own baby son if I knew if it was him. Even if he was a dragon, honey.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that was a funny moment. He went back and freaked out. And
Usopp's like, you can't do this.
And that's how he ended up getting petrified. But their reunion was really cool.
And Sanji's cooking. I mean, like, he's still refusing to eat.
Yeah.
And then his dad's like, this is delicious. Like, eat up. Like, let's choose to live. Like, let's choose to do this. And he's just like tears in his eyes, like eating and stuffing his face.
Yeah.
Like, this poor baby has been through so much.
Oh, we forgot to. Damn. How did we skip this moment? I put a star by it, but I just don't want to forget the Mocha moment where she ate all the candy.
Yeah, that was intense. That was, again, Chopper was really like gunning for these kids. I mean, Nami was too, but Chopper, she was like referring back to him, like, remember our friend Chopper? Like, remember our friends? Like, they're trying to save us, and she's trying to reason with these freaking drug addict kids.
Yeah.
And then she just eats them all, and Chopper's like literally like heartbroken, and then is able to help her. But damn, like, she took one for the team. And that flashback when they're talking to each other, And I thought we would all be adults. Like, I really thought we would all make it out. We had no idea that this was all a lie.
A highlight for me because Chopper finally got a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Like a really cool, like emotional moment. He's got a lot of cool, cute moments, a lot of cool fighting moments. But this was like, we got to see Dr. Chopper here. And he was really concerned and was really like, I'm going to do whatever I can. Like, we got to rush her over here, stat. We need to get this over here, stat. And I love when Chopper goes into doctor mode.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's all business.
All business.
He's got to save lives out here.
And he does. And he cares so much about saving people's lives. And he always does. But I just feel like we really got to see it. And it was awesome to see.
Yeah.
I love when Chopper gets those moments. Anyway, didn't want to forget to mention that. Yeah, the reunion was cool. Sanji's cooking. This is where Law again heals all the kids of their addiction because I'm assuming he,
Yeah, I love that line. Chopper's like, he murdered them.
Yeah, murderer.
Get Law, he's a murderer. And he goes, I was cutting into their bodies. I was cutting their bodies to pieces. And he looks like drained. And he's like, he killed them. And then he's like, oh, of course. He's a surgeon. He is a doctor. Like, he's able to take out bad parts and put them together again. And just the way he phrases it.
Separate and get out the toxins or whatever. But even the kids were like, it kind of hurt. It was kind of scary at first, but then we're like, oh yeah, this is helping us. So I mean, it was crazy. But they said it was like it looked like the thing of nightmares, and they're just a bunch of kids, just like their body parts everywhere.
Yeah, and they did end up, agreeing to giving the kids back to like the Navy, and Tashigi like really was like, please, like give them to us. Nami, and Nami's like, I always had a soft spot for a powerful stares from lady sailors, and I was like, she flashes back
to I believe she flashes back to her mom, who was a naval officer or a member of the Navy.
Oh man, that part got me because it's just like you could see it in her face, like. I'm getting emotional. It was so sad.
It was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful Nami moment.
Nami.
Yeah, this is funny that everybody's eating and Law's like, I mean, we really don't have time to be doing this right now. I mean, we really gotta go.
His face is like, you guys are gonna have a party right now? Doflamingo could come here any minute and like bust our shit.
But the Navy agrees to take the kids. There was a funny moment too of the Navy. They kept drawing this line like, okay, pirates over here, Navy over here, don't cross the line. And then they have the feast and they're like, weren't you guys the ones just drawing the line over there? It was very funny. And they, you do see that they are trying their best to separate themselves from the pirates, but they're also like, if we don't do this, like if we aren't like a little extra with this shit, then it means we just have to admit that we fucking love you guys. And
we love those lawless vagabonds. Because the kids are like, saying like, please, like, we want to say bye to them, even if they are pirates. Like, they were the only ones who helped us. Like, no one was going to come for us. No one was finding us. Like, not even you fucking Navy bitches. Like, they came, the pirates came and helped us. Like, and they just have that everyone's like, they're all crying, and Smoker's like, okay, you guys.
Yeah, G5, the G5 crew is so sick.
They're favorite.
So sick, yeah. They have so much personality. They have so much character. After that, Law, he makes a deal with Doflamingo for Caesar, and he basically tells him, we also get to see that Luffy, that's when, we already talked about it a little bit, but Luffy, mentions that, he wants to take out all 4 emperors. This is where he kind of declares that. We kind of flash back and get to see what he actually said during that interaction.
At least Shanks isn't first.
Yeah, he's like, at least Shanks isn't first, but I'll get to Shanks. I'll get to Shanks.
I was like, damn.
I'm saving Shanks for last. I mean, he probably is.
You're making it sound way more malicious.
Maybe it is.
See, you're like, he's not going to kill him. And you're like, I'm saving Shanks for last.
I just want to see Luffy fucking go off, dude. I want to see him. I mean, I can't imagine, dude. Like, there has to be a point for sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Luffy would ever, like, Luffy doesn't care about becoming a warlord of the sea. I don't even know if he cares about becoming an emperor. I mean, he just wants to be king of the pirates, and that means defeating the emperors. So I don't know if the rest of the world will just recognize him as one, regardless of whether he wants to be one or not, But if at some point he defeats Kaido or does defeat Big Mom, like if he himself is like, I can imagine a line of dialogue where they're like, yeah, you're a fucking one of the emperors now, and he's like, yeah, I don't really give a shit.
No.
He's like,
he really doesn't. I mean, even through Caesar's like long speech of being like, you're dealing with things you have no idea about. You're gonna get crushed, and he's like, he had an awesome line when he punches him, and he's like, I don't care, or like, hasn't stopped me before. That's what it was. Hasn't stopped me before, because he just was like letting him talk, and he's like, I've heard this from so many different people. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to get through. Yeah,
and so I can really picture like a newspaper article or something, and they're like, Usopp comes up to him, and he's like, Luffy, they're calling you an emperor of the sea now, and he's like, really? What? Or he's like picking his nose, or he's eating, or he just doesn't.
He only gets excited when his bounty goes up. He's like, my bounty went up. Sick. Awesome.
But that's just gonna be wild. That's even crazy to think about. But Law's deal with Doflamingo is basically like step down from becoming a warlord. It's not as simple as stepping down, because stepping down is going to mean then that he doesn't get the protection from the Navy that he gets. So doing all of this shady business that he's been doing is going to be a lot harder for him, and he's going to be easier to get for the Navy to get a hold of. So it's actually a way bigger deal. It's not just him losing a title of also King of Dressrosa, and
which was crazy. Yeah,
it's a lot. And they also talk about how the reason that Law wanted to form this alliance in the first place is because in the New World, powerful pirates, powerful people have pretty much laid claim to a lot of these lands, these islands, and have become their rulers. And so it would be foolish to kind of go in like one crew. It would be foolish for one crew to go in. Like, it's going to take multiple crews to go in and to be able to make any sort of dent. And that's why alliances are so much more important in the New World.
Yeah, I wonder why Kid. What that alliance is about.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have like aligned, they're aligned in any way, if they're trying to take down the emperors. Maybe they're trying to take out different, not Kaido at first, maybe like Shanks or Big Mom. Like, we won't know until then, but imagine, they get to the place and they're like, you're trying to take them down? We're going to take them out first so we can get this territory. And they think more that way than like, we just want to take them out because they're not the best people.
Yeah. I want to see more of that for sure. And again, the only reason that Doflamingo would even entertain taking this deal is for Caesar, so he doesn't lose that connection with Kaido and the smile and all that. So some of the men end up going back for their comrades, their petrified comrades, and that's when Doflamingo shows up and really does a number on all of them, and is about to axe Smoker.
And Smoker ain't no snitch. Smoker ain't no snitch. Okay.
Yeah, Smoker. Hell no, dude. Smoker
no. He
will
held it
die
down
if he has to.
He held it fucking down. I was like, hell yeah. After all of that, I was like, you better not say anything.
And right, yeah. He ain't no snitch. He ain't about to say nothing. Smoker ain't about Smoker. You don't want that smoke from Smoker.
You don't.
But
unless you do.
Unless you do. Doflamingo shows up and is about to like take him out, and then our boy Aokiji Kuzan shows up.
This was so lit. Because he is not a part of anything anymore. They're like, he's, I heard a rumor about you, and they're not good. What are you exactly right now? And he kind of just has that like moment with Smoker. And he goes, I thought the world government isn't the end all be all. You have to be independent in order to get some other things done, which made me kind of realize like maybe we'll see Aokiji alliance with the Straw Hats at some point, because, he did kind of have that relationship with Robin, and he sees their cause to be, on the same type of, what he wants. And now that he kind of is enemies with, Akainu a little bit, I would assume, because he doesn't like how he's running things. Like, I'm very interested to see where he goes. Or maybe he's just hiding in the background, or maybe he's a part of like the revolution now.
Well, that's the thing about Aokiji, right? Aokiji is about justice, even if it is lazy justice. So I do think he is just a person that, to me at this point, I feel like he is operating outside of like, I don't think he necessarily would side with the revolution. I don't necessarily think he would side with the with pirates, but I do think that he realizes, or now seems to realize or understand or feel like, damn, I do believe in justice. I do believe in true justice, but I am the only one. I can only do that by like operating outside of the law technically because he doesn't agree with a lot of the things that are happening. And like you said, we saw that when he went after Robin the first time, and we saw that in his Robin's backstory in O'Hara. We saw that he was very just kind of torn between like what was happening and
he didn't agree with it.
Stayed true to his word. And Akainu was the one there who fucking,
killed all the people.
Killed everybody and really pushed for that. But he even then like sent Robin away and said like, okay, I am really not supposed to be doing this. So I am going to keep an eye on you. And you best believe that if you do anything crazy, I will come after you.
And he knows her capabilities. I mean, he knew at that point what she was capable of, and growing up, what she would even be more capable of. Like, it was a risky move.
Yeah, and I think he just operates outside of everything right now, and he's just kind of again. It would be interesting to see him put in a position where he has to sort of maybe begrudgingly team up with pirates. But I do think. You make a valid point that he does know that the Straw Hats are different, but it's just so cool. Every time he shows up, it's like, okay,
he's cool.
You steal the show. He's one of the coolest fucking characters in all of One Piece, dude. He's S tier.
Oh yeah.
Very awesome moment at the very, very end. There's a funny moment with Momo taking a bath with Robin and sleeping with Nami.
She's mommy of the ship.
Yeah, she really is.
She really is. And they're all pissed, and I was like, why are they mad at this baby? And then he like turns to them and he's like hugging Nami and he's like smiling all maliciously. I was like, oh my god. I was like, damn it, Momonosuke.
That was funny.
You changed up real quick. But I mean, Frankie's braids. I mean, come on.
Frankie is fucking awesome, dude. His hair, even his beetle hair or whatever. I mean, I'm obsessed, dude. I think it's so cool. This was a thing that I thought was just going to be some background shit that didn't come into play a lot, but it's like happening all the time, and I'm here for it all day long.
Well, there's a SBS where someone asked, like, is it Frankie's hairstyle? Like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, he can do unlimited hairstyles. So that's fun to draw. And there was another SBS too where it said like parental, this is like very lewd or like viewer discretion advised, like watch out. And he's like, okay. And it was just like jokes about like how like Caesar was gonna demand Law's penis instead of his heart. They're like, that would make him more of like a pee-pee guy, and he's not. And it was just so many jokes about like demanding Law's penis or wanting his penis. I was like, okay.
Imagine
demanding.
Had it in a little box like that. Shit, that'd be crazy, right?
That would be
That
would be like so insane. But if anyone's like made anything like that,
right? I mean, we already got an erect Zoro figure. We do need a box with Law's penis in it.
It's detachable.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, Law, me and you should get a room.
Whoa.
And I have his dick in a box. Yeah. It's his dick in a box. Yeah, it's his dick in a box. We did it, guys. We did it. This is when the paper comes out at the very, very end, and Doflamingo does leave the Seven Warlords of the Sea and does step down from King of Dressrosa. He's not the only thing in the paper, though. Luffy's alliance with Law is in the paper as well as the other alliance that Kid formed with Apu and Basil Hawkins. That is in the paper as well. So the world is very aware of all of this. And the arc ends with just Doflamingo sitting in his room and the phone ringing. Presumably it's Law calling him to kind of talk about the next phase of whatever his plan is. But
and this might have foiled a little bit of Doflamingo's plan, but he's got obviously so many connections, so many strings being pulled. This is not the end all for him. He has another plan, and we're going to find that out in Dressrosa.
I don't think Doflamingo would have done that if he didn't think he still somehow had the upper hand.
Oh, yeah.
I think, again, his play right now is again, he's very calculated, and I think he is just letting Law think. He's letting Law get cocky.
Yeah,
I think.
Totally. And I think, they kind of mentioned previously that Kaido is building this army. Is it an army to take over and make, pretty much everything Wano? Like, because they are closed off from the government? Like, what is his
Yeah,
what
and
is
he
his
has
deal?
over like 500 zone type
Yeah, what is he
soldiers,
doing?
crew
Yeah,
members.
I wonder what he's up
Um,
to. I mean, we'll find out. But
We'll find out. I mean, that's pretty much everything that happens in Punk Hazard. Again,
Woo!
for me, in terms of just like final thoughts, even as we, go through it, I am so excited for Dressrosa. I'm so excited to see the characters we saw at the end of Punk Hazard again in Dressrosa. I'm so excited to find out more about hopefully Doflamingo's backstory, finally get a little bit of Law backstory, which I kind of thought we might get a little of it in Punk Hazard.
Same.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, Punk Hazard is not one of my favorite arcs. That might change as events unfold in the future.
Totally.
It is a lot of setup, but it is a setup that does have some pretty high moments, some pretty awesome moments, some pretty cool moments. But ultimately, it just opens the door and intrigues me so much for what is to come. I have so many more questions than I've had in a long time about what is going to happen, what is happening, what could happen, and now things seem to get even more open. Like the possibilities are even crazier.
Yeah, I mean, Caesar closed a lot of gates, but he also opened a lot of gates. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck yeah, dude.
So I am very excited to see what Dressrosa entails. I mean, it is like one of the longest arcs we're ever going to be covering ever in reading.
Think outside of Wano, it might be. Yeah, so that's interesting in itself. As of right now, we're planning on that being 3 videos. That could change, but just, stay tuned. And 3 videos will probably be what it ends up being.
Yeah.
But we're going to reach out to some more people, maybe for the finale. We'll see what happens. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to be working on that Doflamingo cosplay too. Mehgan's got some cosplays up her sleeve as well that she wants to work on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Dressrosa is going to be a lot of fun. And again, like I don't want anybody to take this too hard, but Punk Hazard, again, a lot of good stuff. But ultimately, in terms of like, I wonder, and at the end of when we get to the end, when we catch up,
when we
get
rank
to the end
all of them again.
Wano, when we rank, I think it'd be interesting to rank the post-time skip arcs independently and then do another ranking of every arc completely ranked. And I wonder where Punk Hazard is going to fall because for me, at this moment in time, it's
on the lower scale.
It isn't standing out as like one of my favorite arcs, but that does not mean that I didn't enjoy aspects of it.
Yeah.
Now, on to the moment that I'm probably most excited for is Mehgan's Theory Corner.
I mean, I kind of sprinkled them throughout the episode because I was just excited to talk about them. But like I said, maybe, can someone consume 2 devil fruits if one is artificial and one is real? Because they're technically not a real devil fruit. I don't know how that works. And also, this is probably the craziest one. I mean, I kind of already said most of them, but the craziest one, I was just thinking, I don't know if it's ever been stated. Maybe it hasn't, maybe it has. But imagine if Goldie Roger had a devil fruit.
Right.
Never told anyone.
Right.
Never mentioned it. Never wanted to mention it. Or maybe people knew. Maybe his close group knew. When he was executed, maybe his devil fruit went somewhere else. And maybe someone else has that devil fruit. Now, I'm not saying it's Luffy. But that would make a lot of sense if they do have that connection. A more spiritual connection. Because maybe when a devil fruit is passed on, maybe you do get a little bit.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, it might be debunked because, he's just always stated that he's a regular guy. But maybe I'm just swinging. But that would be cool.
I love swing away. I love it. Swing away. I think that that's interesting. You posed this question to me a couple days ago, and it did kind of shake me a little bit because in my memory, and again, we've read a lot. There's a lot. I'm sure someone will let us know. But in my memory, there's been no mention of it. And again, so many things happen in One Piece all the time that it kind of never even at this point crossed my mind to even like question whether he had a devil fruit or not. I don't think it's been stated. And again, if Oda doesn't state something, that doesn't mean that it's just not a thing. It just means that he hasn't chosen to speak on it yet, but it could very well happen. If he does have a devil fruit, when you said that, I was like, oh my God. Close friends knowing, only certain people knowing. I don't think it's Luffy's. I could be wrong. I don't think it is Luffy's. I don't think it would be, because I think even his closest friends like Ray Lee would have noticed it, or maybe said something, or even to themselves said something.
I mean, they said, I mean, Ray Lee said like, oh, how much he reminds me of him, but that, you know, he does show like the smile and, you know, his drive to be king of the pirates. Maybe they're similar in that way, but maybe Ray Lee didn't mention like, oh, they're similar in that way, but they also had the same devil fruit. Yeah. I don't know if they probably wouldn't say that straight out, but like, who knows? And I know that he was executed a long time before Luffy was born, but again, devil fruits are kind of hidden for a while, and people get passed on, sold here, sold there.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Just because it passed on to another fruit doesn't mean someone ate it right away. I mean,
exactly.
People have them, hold them, and Shanks's crew Shanks's crew is where Luffy got his devil fruit from. So that's interesting as well.
It would be interesting. It would be cool if like it would, you know, interesting that Luffy would have his devil fruit, but it would just be interesting at all if Goldie Roger was a devil fruit user.
Yes, yes, that would be interesting in its own. But or on
again,
its own,
it could be debunked. I don't know if anyone else has thought of this. I didn't see it anywhere. I just kind of thought of it. It might already be a thing, or if it is, someone said like, "Oh no, he was just a regular guy. That's why it was so impressive that he became the king of the pirates." I don't know. But that's just
my big thing
game
is
theory.
just a game theory. My big thing is like, are zones the only type of devil fruits that have successfully been artificially created? Are there other types, and have we seen people and not known that have them?
Yes.
Are there people who don't even know that they've ate an artificial one? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like the backlog
because, again,
of characters that we've met.
Me too. Again, like you said, Suke, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Momo. Seems like he doesn't have a lot of control over it. I don't know, again, if it's because he's a kid. I don't know if it's because he never even thought about it or tried to. But again, being a warrior, you know, having that warrior spirit, you'd think he would have tried to hone it, or could become capable of honing it.
I mean, again, he's a child. He's a child that might have to do a lot with how he can't hone it. Maybe, you know, that's why they give it to adults. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know, but it just seems weird. It seems weird that you know, that we would be introduced to this, and that it would just be zones.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like there are going to be other types of devil fruits that could be artificially created. Maybe not all zones, but maybe it is just all zones. But if it is, there's got to be a reason for that. The fact that we still don't know or haven't seen Vegapunk, like again. Your line was so perfect, Mehgan. Caesar closed a lot of gates, but he opened some pretty big ones too in Punk Hazard. And I can totally see how this arc lays the groundwork for everything that's to come. Because, man, so many things and concepts were introduced here. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen. Do you have any other theories or anything you want to point out?
No, that's pretty much it. I went, you know, a Virgo's a pacifista or a copy. You know, Aokiji might be a part of something.
The hockey and the you know.
And Kaido, like, you know,
the excuse for the men.
They're building this army. It would be kind of shocking if like they were kind of in the dark about everything. Momonosuke, and their reaction, I felt like was very, very purposeful, because he kind of has that revelation, like, that's why, or like, oh, and he's like, oh shit, like, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Kaido seems like a very well-known person, and he is an emperor, so I don't know why they would be so shocked at that. Maybe they have a deeper connection than him just being the head of Wano, or the leader. I don't know, but it was a very interesting reaction from both of them.
Yeah. I am curious. I am so curious to see what happens going forward from this. Let us know your thoughts on Punk Hazard. How did you feel about the arc when you first read it in your memory?
Or watched it.
If you watched it or read it with us. What were some of your initial thoughts and reactions to it? How did you feel about it overall compared to the arcs that have come before this? Any and all thoughts, feelings, theories that are non-spoilery theories, please let us know in the comments down below. And if you have any other suggestions for cosplay, just a character name that won't spoil anything, let us know that too, because some people did that on our last video and it was super, super, super helpful.
Yeah, so it really was.
Yeah. Look forward to those cosplays. Look forward for what's to come, because hopefully we're able to really take advantage of that and do some really cool things and have more time to do some really cool things. So yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for listening to another episode. Thank you for sticking all the way to the very, very end of it. That is going to do it for our Punk Hazard Part 2 video conclusion and discussion conclusion of Punk Hazard. But before we go, we do have to shout out and we do have to thank a very special group of individuals. Our wonderful, our beautiful Patreon members.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Thank each and every one of you guys from the bottom of our hearts for all of your support. Your support means the absolute world to us. The fact that you of your own free will choose to donate to us, choose to support us in this way blows us away. And it means so much to us. And I mean, you know, again, like, now having more of a plan going forward for some of the cosplays and having a little more time to prep for them, your money and your kindness and your generosity is going to go to very, very good use. But even if it's not for cosplay, I mean, literally everything we do here on our show, down to our equipment, down to the amount of time we get to spend because of the financial freedom that our Patreon and YouTube members allow us to have, everything outside of cosplay, you know, goes back into the show in one way or another and helps us do what we do at the level that we do it at. And this show, trust me, would be absolutely nothing without that. Like, we wouldn't be able to dedicate this much time, this much money to equipment, cosplays, and reading and prepping. Like, it just wouldn't be possible. So if you love the show, and you are a Patreon and YouTube member, give yourself a pat on the back, because this show is what it is because of you. So thank you so much from the bottom of both of our hearts. But if you are not a Patreon member and you would like to become one, if you'd like to become one and play a part in making the show what it is, then all you have to do that is to become a Patreon member or a YouTube member is go to patreon.com/volume1pod or click join on this video to become a YouTube member. You're going to get early access to all of our episodes. You're going to get access to an exclusive podcast, a whole separate podcast called Volume 1 Extra, where we talk about anything and everything, sometimes anime and manga related. Sometimes, you know, we've even talked about Strong World, like I said in the previous video on that Patreon exclusive episode. But we talk about things outside of anime and manga too. We talk about Stranger Things. We've talked about, Obi-Wan. We've talked about anything we're watching currently or have done currently. Any and all things music related, even TV show, movie, any and all things we talk about on Volume 1 Extra. It's a whole separate video podcast and audio podcast that you can get exclusively if you're a Patreon and YouTube member, on top of early access to everything. And like I said, you get that at our lowest tier on both places. So again, patreon.com/volume1pod or click join on this video to become a YouTube member. It helps and means the world to us. But if you're not at a place currently in your life where you can support financially or show your support financially, or if you plain and flat out just don't want to, then there are plenty of other ways you can show your support that mean just as much to us. I swear they mean just as much to us. And you can do these things for minimal effort, and you can do them, most importantly, for free 99. And Mehgan will tell you what those things are right now.
Yes, if you have no berries to spare, no fear, no worries, all you have to do is comment on any one of our videos, like any one of our videos, or subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. It really does help us out, and it helps spread our videos far and wide across the seas of our world, and it really does help. It acts as a free tip, like I said, and if you have no berries to spare, all you got to do is do that, and it does help us out tremendously. We love reading your guys' comments, theories, thoughts, just funny things about the series or fun facts. Like we love it, and that is something you can do for absolutely free, and it does help us out.
Yeah, and if you're looking for three, like I think currently right now, as of the recording of this episode, if you're looking for three of the biggest ways that you can show your support for free 99, it is leaving us a review on like any audio platform. Even if you don't listen, but you have an app for an audio podcast platform, leaving us a review over there helps a lot. Sharing this video helps a lot. So if you have another person in your life, a friend, family member, whatever, significant other, anybody that that loves One Piece, sharing the video with somebody helps a lot. The third one is
leaving a review.
I already said I already said leaving a review. Oh, and the view duration. The view duration
yes.
helps a lot too. So watching it all the way to the very end, whether you come back to it, whether you watch it in sections, whether you watch it all at once, or whether you just put it on in the background, the view duration helps a lot too. So the fact that you're here right now, the fact that you're still here watching and listening is you helping.
We love you.
We love you. On top of liking, subscribing, all that stuff, which, everybody always tells you to do. You already know. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for any and all support. We appreciate it all equally. And that's it. That's going to do it for the finale, the final part of Punk Hazard. On to Dressrosa. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on an outro that's always the same and never changes, which today, Mehgan, is...
I want candy.
Okay, I like it. That's pretty good. I like it.
Okay.
All right. That was an easy one. Today was an easy one. Sometimes it's not always that easy. Sometimes it's actually very, very hard and takes us a very long time. But thank you, Mehgan. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
I want candy.